Hi everyone, hello. Very good afternoon to each and everyone out there. And let's begin with the session that is our arithmetic progression lecture number one. And let us see that what we are going to discuss in this particular session. So for the first thing which we are going to discuss is about the introduction to the chapter, that what actually is arithmetic progression, how we can relate it to our day-to-day lives. The second thing which we are going to learn is the daily life examples of your AP. The third is the terms which are used in the AP, that is the chapter, the general form of an arithmetic progression, and some questions related to what we have discussed in the theory part today. So let's begin with the session, and here is the first thing which we are going to do, that is the introduction to the chapter. Now, what does this full term of arithmetic progression means? Now, when we talk about the term, basically arithmetic and progression, so if I only talk about arithmetic, so arithmetic is something that is the maths which is related to your numbers, right? When you will learn in the higher standards and if you will prepare for the competitive, so you will be learning there are two different type of maths, that is the arithmetic and the advanced maths. All right. So for the maths, the branch of maths in which we deal with numbers, that is known as your arithmetic. And what does this progression means? The word progress means growth, to increase something, to sequentially, grow something. So here progression means the growth of number, the basically sequence of number, you can say. So what we are going to discuss in this chapter, that is arithmetic progression, is that it is a sequence of numbers. So you have a series, or you can say a sequence of numbers in order in which the difference is constant. Now what does this difference means and what is all about arithmetic progression? Let us take some few daily life examples to deal with this. All right. So the first thing which we are going to see is a lot of you have seen, or for example, if I am there in front of you, all right, and I have started in working a company. I have started working in company for suppose say company A. And this company A has told me that you are joining from January. All right. And if I'm joining from January, so my salary for the first month will be 100. Let's say for that my salary for the first month be rupees 100. And then they told me that after every month, like in every month, your salary will increase by 50 rupees. So that means if I'm joining in January, my salary is 100 rupees. And in the month of February, my salary will be an increase of 50, that is 150 rupees. In the month of March, my salary will be 200 rupees. And in the month of April, my salary will be 250 rupees. And so on. So basically, there are a lot of examples which you come across in your day-to-day life, that you have a fixed initial value and a particular amount or a particular number keeps on adding in it, so that it forms a sequence, that is your AP. Now, why is this AP and number series different from each other? Why are we differentiating number sequence and AP in two different perspectives? So a number sequence, or you can say a number series, deals with any type of pattern. For suppose it can be a pattern of square, like 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, and then we have 3 square 9, 4 square 16, and so on. So this is also a number sequence, right? Any sequence which follows any pattern. But for your arithmetic progression, there is one required thing, that is the difference, basically the gap. If we talk about the gap between two numbers, so the gap between two numbers has to be constant. Now what does this constant means? It has to be same throughout the AP. That means if here in between 100 and 150, I have a gap of 50. And in between 150 to 200, again I have a gap of 50. And in between 200 to 250, again I have a gap of 50. So this is my arithmetic progression. But if I see this statement, that is this sequence, the gap between 1 and 4 is 3. The gap between 9 and 4 is 5. The gap between 9 and 16 is your 7. So the gap between two numbers is not same. So this does not form my AP. And since the gap between these two numbers, these numbers are same, these sequence is same. So this particular is termed as my AP. Let me give you one more example for the same. For suppose a lot of you guys might have traveled in auto rickshaws or taxis. So how does these taxis in abroad or somewhere in India works? So if I talk about these taxi, for suppose you have to go from a place A to place B. And for suppose this distance is approximately of around, let's say, 5 kilometers. All right. So for suppose you have to go and meet a friend of yours who lives at place B, and that place is like 5 kilometers apart. And if you stop a taxi and you ask him, so what does these taxi people and the auto rickshaw people do? They have a fixed amount for the first kilometer. For suppose if by chance you sit in that auto, so you have to pay a particular fixed amount, maybe if you want to step out at a very short distance. So for the very first kilometer they have a particular amount fixed, and that is different from the rest of the kilometers. For suppose that for the first kilometer he takes rupees 30. All right. And for every additional kilometer which you travel, it adds on rupees 10 to you. For suppose for the first kilometer you have paid 30, and for the second kilometer you have to pay 10 more, that accounts for rupees 40. For the third kilometer you have to pay 10 more, that have to account for rupees 50. For the next fourth kilometer you have to pay 10 more, and then again a 10 more. So basically till the time you reach there you have to pay rupees 70 to the cab driver or the auto rickshaw driver, you can say, right? So again, if I say the fare price forms an AP, how? The first kilometer for the first number which we have is 30. That is the first kilometer which we are traveling. For the second kilometer, we have to pay 40. For 3 kilometers, we have to pay 50. And then we have to pay 60 and 70 and so on if we have to travel any further distance. Right? So again, we can see that the gap between any two numbers is same. That is, the gap between 30 to 40 is also 10. The gap between 40 to 50 is also 10. The gap between 50 to 60 is also 10, and so forms with 60 to 70. So this again forms my AP because the first term is fixed and a fixed constant amount or a term is added to the next term so that it forms a constant AP. All right. So the next thing which we are going to discuss is now again a short example. If you see this calendar, so if I take any series like any part, any column or any row or diagonal row in this, it also forms an AP. Let us see how. First of all, if I take this row, all right, so if I take 2, 9, 16, 23, 30, so you can clearly see that the gap between the dates, that is 2, 9, 16, 23 and 30 is same, that is 7. If again I change the row and if I take this one, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can again see that the gap between all the terms is 1. And if the gap is 1, if the gap is same, I say, so that also forms your AP. For suppose if I take diagonally, for suppose if I take 4, 12, 20, 28. So again, the gap between the numbers is 8, and this also forms an AP because the gap is constant. So any row, any column, diagonally, horizontally, vertically you want to take, you can take in this and that will form an AP. So in the calendars, in the taxi fare, in the salary increment, if it happens monthly, annually, whatever you can say, so that forms your AP. Now let us see the book examples of your AP. For the first example, if I take, all right, so for the very first example, if I see here, does this form our AP? Is it like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, dot, dot. The gap between all the numbers is same, that is 1. So it forms my AP, and yes, we can say this is my AP. For the second example, if I see, that is 100, 70, 40, 10. I see that the gap between these two numbers is 30. Basically, I'm just talking about the gap. I will tell you how D, that is the common gap which is termed as, actually calculated. So the gap between here, between the two numbers is 30. So this again forms our AP. -3, -2, -1. The gap is of 1. Yes. So this also forms my AP. And okay, let's see the fourth example. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Is this an AP? What do you guys think? I think it should not be, or it should be. Okay, so let me explain. So 3 comma 3 comma 3 comma 3. What my AP is that the gap has to be same and it should be a sequence. 3 comma 3 comma 3 comma 3 3 3 3 3. This forms a sequence, but is the gap same? I see that the gap between these two numbers is 0. Alright, the gap between these two numbers is 0 again. Okay, and the gap between these two numbers is 0. So if my gap is constant, so this is my AP. So it also forms an AP. So don't get confused. The D can be 0. Basically, the gap between the two numbers can be 0, can be positive, can be negative. We will be discussing about it. All right. So let us see the terms which are used in the AP. Let's take the cab example. So we are starting with 30. Then for the next kilometer, we are taking it as 40. For the next kilometer, we are taking it as 50, then at 60 and 70 and so on for the further distance that we will be traveling. So here we see that the very first term of your sequence is known as A. If I see this number, this is the very first term of your sequence of your particular AP, and this particular term is known as A. And what is this A? That is the first term. You can say it as A1 also, and you can say it A also, right? So this is my A. If I talk about what is D, so A is the first term of your AP. If I talk about D, so what is the D? D is the gap, the common difference of your AP. So your D is what? The common difference which you will be getting in the particular AP. For suppose in this particular AP, the common difference is of 10, right? Because a gap of 10 is there between 30 and 40. So that is your common difference, right? And what is this AN? What is AN? This AN, basically N is written in the subscript down there in the shorter form. And what is this AN if we talk about? So AN is the nth term of the AP. Now what is the nth term of AP? That means any term which we are talking about. Nth term means for suppose 7th term. So N will be 7. For suppose we are talking about 30th term. So N will be 30. For suppose we are going till, we don't know that how long we are going to travel, or this is an infinite AP. So the last term of this AP, basically this AP is ranging till where is known as your nth term or the A. Alright, I hope this is clear with each and every one of you. Let's move forward. Okay, so general form of an AP. What is the general form of AP? For again, I write the same example for suppose 30, then we have 40, then we have 50, then we have 60 and 70 and so. Alright, so here we see that the first term is A. And here I also see that the gap between the two numbers is of 10. Here the common difference between the two numbers is of 10, 10 and 10. Alright, so if I say the first term of an AP, that is 10, that is here 30, sorry. The difference between the two terms is, and for the difference, if I say this is 30, this is my A1. If this is 40, this is my A2. If this is 50, this is my A3. This is 60 is my A4. A4 means A3 means A2 means A1 means what? A1 means first term. A2 means second term. A3 means third term. A4 means fourth term. And similarly, A5 means the fifth term of your AP. Right? So here we can see that this is the fifth term until the AP is ranging. Let me call it as A. Alright, so how is this calculated? For suppose if I keep my first term fixed, if I am keeping my first term fixed, that is if I am keeping my 30 fixed, so how am I getting 40? How am I getting this 40? I am getting this 40 by adding the gap, which is constant throughout. If I add 10 and 30, then I will be getting the second term, that is 40. Right? If I add twice the difference, basically what I means to say that twice the gap For reaching here at 50, I need to add this gap two times. That is 30. First gap will give me 40, and then 40 second gap will give me 50. So basically, for reaching to the third term, I have to add what? The difference, basically the gap, two times in the first term. Then I'll get A3. For A2, what I did in the first term, I added the gap once. That gave me the second term, that is A2 is equals to A plus D. A3 is equals to A plus 2D, right? Similarly, A4, for reaching here, listen to me clearly, for reaching at 60, in this 30, I have to add the gap. How many times? 1, 2, and 3 times. So basically to get this fourth term, I have to add the gap 3 times. That is, in the first term, I have added the gap 3 times. So this forms my A plus 3D. So this is the general form of the AP. Now you can say that similarly, see, A4 is there, so I have added 3D. A3 is there, so I have added 2D. And similarly, A2 is there, so I have added 1D. So I can say that if I'm taking as A30, so I have to add the D how many times? I'm waiting for you people to answer. Just comment down wherever you can answer it and let me know in the next session, or you can comment down in the video itself. So for the A30, tell me. And similarly, for any term which you want to calculate, for the first term, you have to add how many difference, and then you can result. You can get the result, right? So let me know. And in the next session, so I will be waiting for your answers. The next thing which we have here is, let us take a question. Do these terms, do these number forms an AP? If they form an AP, write the next two terms. So if I see my A is what? 4. My A2 is what? 10. My common difference, that is D, will be what? A2 minus A1. I always have to do this thing, A2 minus A1, not A1 minus A2. Alright, it has to be second term minus the first term. So I have to subtract 10 minus 4, 10 minus 4, I'm so sorry. Alright, and here we will be getting D as our 6. So what I have to see, that the difference between 4 and 10 is also 6. The difference between 10 and 16 is also 6, and the difference between 16 and 22 is also 6. So if I have the difference as the constant, right, if my difference is constant throughout my AP, so this forms an AP. So this was all about today, and I hope this session was helpful to you and the concepts are very much clear to you. If you will be having any doubt, please do let me know in the description, in the comment section down there. And thank you so much for attending the session. And in the next session, we are going to do the nth term of AP, basically how to calculate AN of the AP. Like if you are given just first 4 terms of the AP, you can calculate any term of the AP. Right. So wish to see you guys in the next session. Till then, take care, have a great time ahead, and thank you so much.